going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Of the bill. Hugh, this is such an interesting story. I'm curious your take on how much of this is government doing just in a digital version what government normally does, and how much of it is unusual and odd.
Hey, John, good to be with you. So I think let's first of all, acknowledge, the unusual aspect of getting these documents. So these are agreements between Apple and 4 states that have agreed that signed on to their plan to basically digitize your state-issued ID and put it into the iPhone onto the Wallet app. So, as you know, Apple's known for its secrecy. So, we managed to get some of these. And basically what they show is what I think is remarkable is the degree to which Apple is really in the driver's seat when it comes to calling the shots on these. So the states that have agreed to offer this program have to, commit to a wide-ranging series of measures, including standing up, creating and maintaining these tech systems to issue these virtual credentials, putting project managers on this to answer Apple inquiries, marketing and promoting the use of these Apple IDs, and it goes on and on, and ultimately. The contracts that we've reviewed are very clear. This is all at the state's expense. So if you were to take a step back, think about this. This is essentially the states subsidizing the new feature that Apple has talked about, boasting about, in its developers conference just in June.
Interesting. Or is it Apple subsidizing states transitioning to digital IDs? Which, I don't know if they could do that on their own, but if you view this as a government contract where these states are contracting with Apple to adopt their system for digital ID, then I guess you would expect them to pay and have to implement the system in the way that this platform designates.
Well, John, I have no doubt that the end user to these will be probably delighted by the ease of use and the ability to verify your identity in a variety of remote and in-person scenarios. But why should the taxpayer be on the hook for that for a technology that's going to go to benefit the Apple, right? Its investors and its shareholder base, and less than half of the population who uses the Apple iOS. This doesn't say anything about Google or anything, or the Android or anything like that. So I just think it's an interesting approach to this. And if you look at other countries have pursued national digital IDs, identification cards, but from a platform agnostic approach, so that it's not necessarily a $250 trillion, $2.5 trillion tech company that is taking advantage of this.
But have they been good? Have they functioned well, I guess is the question. Hugh, it's Deirdre, by the way. Do you remember in the early days of the pandemic, we had this sort of novel partnership between Apple and Google, and they were going to partner to do COVID tracking. And this was seen as the best sort of technical solution. But there were so many questions around privacy and how they were going to do it, and perhaps hold up with government entities. Do you think that this could go the way of that and just not really get off the ground because of all of these concerns?
Well, I think if you read the contract, it's really clear, and Apple is super prescriptive in what it needs to stand up this program, and it's requiring the states to, to work with law enforcement, for instance, and IRS, for instance, to get everybody on the same page. I think it's going to be successful, and I think the real question is, you bring up the idea of, well, it's got to work, right? And I think this is a real debate about what we're willing to give up in pursuit of efficiency and efficacy versus just really the principles of whether or not the government should be ceding the ability to verify identity to a sole private tech corporation.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And you guys know I've done several videos on the digital ID, Microsoft, Accenture, doing the digital ID 2020. And we know when they're given the dates, that's the date they're laying down the foundation. Now we have Apple coming out with the digital ID. And we know this digital ID is going to track you and help you perform daily tasks. And someone sent it inside of my Patreon. Remember, Teamworks makes the dream work. It's the Thales digital ID. Also, I've been over with PayStream with Ripple. And the masses and the sheep are just going to say, oh, this digital ID is just going to go into a digital form. That's all. No. This is all about tracking your everyday life. Your KYC is going to already be on your phone, guys. Remember, when it comes to the masses, they want everything seamless. They don't never want the masses to ever think. That's why critical thinking is so important. They don't never want them to think. They're going to make this as totally seamless. Once Apple gets the digital ID on the phone, then cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, robots, algorithms, drones take over, and the masses enslave themselves. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.